I'm John Bohlinger with Premier Guitar, and I'm with Paul Reed Smith at the Paul Reed Smith factory. And Paul, I can't thank you enough for letting us come here and see behind the curtain, see how it's all done.
We've shown you things we've not shown anybody.
I know.
Well, it's good, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, at least you like it. You're smiling.
Yeah, I am giddy. I am legitimately giddy about being here. Just meeting you, seeing what you're doing, and thinking about, like, when did this all start for you? When did you start?
I'll answer the question, but there's 425 people here. It's not just me. Okay.
But it
Fair
started
enough?
with you, absolutely.
Okay.
A great team.
Okay, but it's always been teamwork. So what's the question exactly?
When did this start? And it was
fair enough. When did the thing with you and guitar start? What year?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
In 8th grade. Got the bug.
And what year was that?
That was 78, I guess. Yeah,
Okay,
78.
for me, it started a little earlier.
Yeah.
So when I was probably 15, my brother took me to, at the time, which was then a Kmart kind of, but
Yeah.
when the Beatles records came out, there would literally be a stack of Beatles records as big as this room, because they had done enough advance ordering, and people came from everywhere to buy them. Right? It was no internet.
Sure.
And he showed me a record. It was at the time, it wasn't a CD or a stick. It was a big piece of cardboard, right?
Yeah.
And there was a guy, a black guy, on the cover with a big fro and two eyes on his shirt, and two white guys next to him with fros on their heads. And he goes, "These guys are huge in England, and they're going to be huge here." And I went, "Yeah." And he says, "So seriously, right?" Now, when the things came, they came with a cellophane on them, right?
Yeah.
So my brother, we go home, and he says, "I got some errands to do." So he leaves. And I see this picture of this guy with these two eyes on his shirt, and I went, and I took the cellophane off, and I put it on. It starts with Fire, ends with Are You Experienced? I was not the same. I couldn't deal with what I just heard. People were playing guitars so they get dates. I didn't care about that. I wanted to play the guitar. I liked the sound of it, So for me, my mother bringing home Meet the Beatles, or us being at the time a jukebox and playing She Loves You 100 times, or Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs in a restaurant going, "Little Red Riding Hood," or whatever it was, right?
Right.
All this extraordinary music. James Brown's theme song was WANN, that's W Annapolis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I would walk in the house and popcorn would be on, or Cold Sweat would be on, or it was just unbelievable what was going on. How would you not get addicted to that? And the thing that was making all these sounds was an electric guitar and people's voices, obviously drums and bass and all that stuff. But I remember, I was one of the first people to ever get my hands on the Led Zeppelin record with Stairway to Heaven. I didn't care about the first part. I liked it when the band kicked in, so I would lower the needle or the band kicked in. I got the bug a little earlier than you, but not much.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. I loved it.
And you've just been chasing the tone ever since.
Well, look, I wanted to be a guitar player, but if I played guitar at Washington Music, everybody would run away like oil and water. But if I opened a case of something I made, it would draw a crowd. And I was like, that ain't right. But I had to pay attention to the feedback of the world. They were interested in the guitars. They weren't interested in the way I played.
So when did you build your first guitar?
Well, that's an interesting definition. If you build a body for a neck somebody else has made, is that building a guitar? In my world, it's when you make your first neck.
Oh, sure.
So to me, putting the truss rod in, gluing the fretboard on, slotting the fingerboard, putting the inlays in, all that was the beginning of making guitars. And I did it in my the end of my first year in college. So you want to see something fun?
Yes, Paul.
All right, so let's do something. See this piece of wood right here? Can we take a close-up of this?
Sure.
All right, so we're in the vault, and this is where people come to get the woods for the guitars. If I wet this, you start to get a beginning of what it's going to look like with finish on it. That's outrageous. That's the way God grew that piece of wood.
God,
That's
just
unbelievable, right? I mean, that's just scary. Look at this curl that's going this way.
It really looks three-dimensional.
It does. It is three-dimensional. The wood's going in and going out, and you're cutting off a 3D thing in 2D.
Wow.
That's what you're doing.
Wow.
So, I mean, what fun. Now, this has probably already been sold, and you can't have it, which is the best thing to tell somebody, and as a guitar player, that they can't have it, and then they want the next one.
Right.
So look, let's just do another one, just for fun, okay? It doesn't look that curly, but if I take and wet it, I mean, that's just beautiful. It's like an old violin. Look at that thing.
Yeah. Well, and it's it. You know, PRS. It really starts with the wood, and I think that's what attracts all of us. That was the initial attraction, I think, for everybody when we saw your guitar. It's just the way that
I didn't want it that way. I want it to be the way they sounded, the way they felt. But if we didn't have something beautiful on it,
yeah,
80% of information is brought in with people's eyeballs.
sure.
But in the end, how it sounds and how it feels is a big deal.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, you know, I didn't even want it. All the good guitars when I was a kid didn't have truss rod covers, so I didn't put truss rod covers on the guitars. You know, all the good Strats that came in had no back plate over the trim cavity, so I didn't want to put that on. You know, it was just, I don't know. Look, John, if you steal from one place, it's stealing.
Yeah.
You steal from 10 places, it's research. Don't worry about it.
It's true. It's true. But you know, it's amazing that all this time later, you're coming in every day and building guitars, and you're constantly making tweaks and changes to your line and improving them,
Trying to.
adding, yeah.
Yeah, trying to.
No,
We never changed the jack plate because it works.
right.
But if there's something about the way the nuts cut so that it can stay a little better in tune with the tremolo, we'll do it. You know, there's a way that we can make the pickup have a little bit more of a beautiful note to it. We'll do it. Well, whatever it is that makes a difference. I don't want to change things just for change sake. We change things because we think we can make a better guitar. So what are you going to do? You're going to want to tour? What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, we kind of want to see. We want to see the whole process. We're starting with the wood here. We want to take it all the way through the way you're building guitars here.
Look, we're an interesting company. We start literally with logging these trees all the way through marketing the guitars.
Yeah.
It's called an integrated line. You know, we're not an assembly house. We're doing it from scratch.
Right.
We've had other guitar making companies here. We don't do what you do. I said, what are you talking about? He says, we order the neck blanks and we order the fretboards cut and we order this. He said, we never made this stuff from scratch.
Yeah.
And I was like, my mind was blown. I was like, I don't know how to do it any other way. That's the only way we know.
Yeah. In fact, you just showed me like a tool you made. You just don't
Yeah.
make every step of the guitar. You make some of the tools that go into making them. It's
Yeah,
pretty.
so for us, the tools weren't available, so we had to make them.
Yeah.
What we showed you was a machine that we built that says how a pickup sounds before we ever plug the pickup in.
Yeah.
But you can't buy that.
Yeah.
So an engineer made it for us, you know, electrical engineer. He says, I can make you a tool that'll show you the sound before you ever plug it in. Yeah, right, sure. It took us 20 years to learn how to use that thing. Now
Yeah.
we live by it.
Yeah. That's great. So.